Cody Fajardo saying he wouldn't want to play for Chris Jones. I was caught off guard a little bit when I heard about those comments and read about them on 3 Down. But you had a reaction. You took it a step further, and I think it's a really good point. Why don't you tell our viewers what you think about that?
Yeah, it's just the feeling I get is it's just so off-brand for Cody, right? When you see him, he's always smiling. He seems like, he's always positive. He's always open-minded. He's never negative at the podium. He's never negative with the media. He's not a guy who calls out other people. He seems very, inclusive and positive. So for me, it just felt off-brand for him to say, I wouldn't want to play for that guy, or that doesn't work for me, or, almost to be negative. But at the same time, it plays a little bit into his fiery nature on the field. So I totally understand that. He's aware of the situations that work for him and situations that don't work for him. So he is aware. I wish guys would, quarterbacks or football players would lean into some of these things, a little bit of the hate in the game, build up some storylines and some rivalries, but it just felt off-brand for Cody, and I don't know if it's a good move or not.
I'm sure he doesn't care, but I thought the same thing as you. I was a little surprised. Off-brand, I don't know about that. I mean, it ties in a little bit to a conversation that I had on Saturday with Perry Shockey, the legendary junior hockey coach. Shockey's the name, hockey's the game. We haven't talked in 15 years. We used to work together back in the day, and he said he just discovered the show last week, got his cable hooked up in a new home that he's moved into in Lethbridge, and this show's on. He's like, that can't be the same guy. Turns it on. There he is. So sent me a text. Anyways, he goes, I was watching your show and you talked about getting into recovery. And he said, when I heard you got saved, I broke down. That was from Shocks, because he was always a very big God guy. I didn't really get into it. I was late to the party until I got into recovery. So anyways, my wife, when I talk about all these recovery concepts and the religious concepts, because Cody's lived that way since high school. He's got a hell of a story, but he hasn't always lived this way. My wife says, why are you getting mad? You're a big faith guy. Mm-hmm. Just because you believe in God and turn everything over to God doesn't mean you can't get mad. Doesn't mean the crappy things aren't going to happen in your life. It just gives you the ability better to deal with them. That's what it all is. So, listen, I know you're a Christian too. I'm not turning this into Dr. Robert Schuller on a Sunday morning. Believe me, I'm not. But just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you can't have feelings.
It's true.
All of them.
Yeah.
So, again, I just think if Chris Jones came back, all it would take is one coffee or one phone call to get over all of this.
Yeah, that's all it would take. You're right. Absolutely. Get on the same page. Understand that, this doesn't... Cody's looking at it, I'm sure, like, if he was here, that might be the end of my career. Because, if he wants me to do something that doesn't fit with what I'm good at, I'm not going to have success, right? And if he doesn't give me a little bit of time to warm up in a game, if I have a bad start, I might be out by the end of the second quarter and never get a chance again. And he's a guy where over time, you know that he's going to bring his best. So I understand that for sure. I do.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.